All right, Memorial Day 2020. What is it? May 22nd? Anyways, it's been just about a month since I've got everything planted. And green beans are doing really good down here. I do flood water about once or twice a week, depending on how hot it is and how the plants are doing. Flood watering is actually better for the plants, and in spite of what the environmentalists think, it's more efficient. The longer the water meanders through the trenches, the more it soaks into the ground, which causes the roots to go deeper, which makes for stronger plants. Some tomatoes here I planted by seed, and they didn't grow. These two here are Better Boys, which are actually a hybrid of a couple of different tomatoes. And these are what they call patio tomatoes, and just cherry tomatoes. My spinach and kale and potatoes did nothing. This long dike down here at the end is where the kale was at, and then right there where it looks like a flattened row was where my spinach was at. And then of course that's the potatoes, but they haven't done anything, so I'm not going to water the potatoes anymore, because well, they're not doing anything. And then I don't know, I might try and replant some kale and spinach half and half on this long row here. But we'll see. I've only got 4 zucchini planted, probably 10. 4 zucchini came up, 3 squash came up. But honestly, for us, 4 zucchini plants is plenty. I just wanted to be able to make some veggie marinara sauce and can it this year. And we try to stay away from heavy carbs as much as we can. And so for spaghetti, we spiral the zucchinis and turn them into noodles. So we have spaghetti and zoodles. And then, of course, you got fried zucchini and squash, and that's all good stuff. So, but we've got 3 crookneck yellow squash, summer squash, whatever you want to call it, and 4 zucchinis. Those 2 are zucchinis, and the 2 down at the very end are zucchinis. This is my peppers. As you can see, I have 1 plant growing, and I bought that one. I planted red and yellow bell peppers, some cayenne peppers, and some jalapenos. Nada. So I'm not sure what's going on with my soil. But this golden bell is healthy as can be. It never even went limp when I transplanted it. These are my zucchinis, okra. I pre-planted these into 6 packs. I just transplanted them because they were stunted. They've grown probably about an inch or 2 in the last couple of days, so they're going to be doing good. We're getting ready to pop up into the 90s for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that's okra weather. Okra loves hot weather, so does corn. So we're going to be hopefully seeing these okra explode. Corn, I'm doing okay with. About half of what I planted sprouted. I always double and triple plant, and then when they get big enough, I thin them out. But this time, because not much was sprouting, when I thinned them, I transplanted the ones that I thinned out, and you can see this one is actually bouncing back. There's 1 there that's dead, 2 here that are dead, and that one there on the end is dead. Those all were transplants. They didn't survive. But this one and that one are both bouncing back. So about half of what I transplanted survived. So I'm going to probably plant more corn seeds here. And down there with the squash and zucchini, Where the zucchini's at, with just the 2 plants, I'm going to plant a bunch of corn through there. And the first row here with the squash and zucchini in it, I'm going to plant corn in between each plant. And then my pepper row, it's kind of hard to get potted plants right now because of the whole coronavirus thing. The minute our hardware stores get 6-packs and pots and stuff in, people in Bakersfield hear about it, and Ridgecrest hear about it, and they just flood our stores and destroy everything. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any sprouts from the hardware store or not. But I'd like to try and plant about at least 2 more bell peppers and 3 jalapenos, and probably in the rest of that row, plant more tomatoes. Just never go wrong with tomatoes. Always turn them into marinara sauce or whatever. The blinging around the garden. I've got pinwheels, I've got marigolds, and I've got sonic spikes. Sonic spikes aren't doing very good this year. We've had them in the garden for about 4 years. Gophers gotten used to them, so we had to up our game. Our first couple of years, we had a combination of the spikes, the pinwheels, and the marigolds, and we never had a problem with gophers. So, doing that again this year. The pinwheels, when the wind blows, they vibrate into the ground, which the gophers don't like. And also the reflection off the mylar fins helps keep birds away. So hopefully, so far so good. My baby strawberries. My neighbor ordered a bunch of strawberry shoots, and I didn't know, but we were talking about planting stuff, and I had mentioned that I wanted to get some more strawberries, and she said that she had extras, so those 4 are shoots from her. And then the one that's trying to survive was actually a hitchhiker. The wife of one of our church members has irises and strawberries and hollyhocks and all kinds of stuff in her yard. And she's trying to thin the irises out. We have a bunch in the front of the church, and plus I'm planting some here, so she keeps pulling irises up and giving them to us. And that one that's barely hanging on was a hitchhiker, so hopefully that hangs on. And I'm hoping that that's a different species of strawberries, so the 5 different plants, which 2 different species, will actually cross-pollinate or whatever strawberries do. That's my raspberry. That's about how big it was when I planted it last year. It came back on 1 cane. Well, it looks like we're doing pretty good with the raspberries. That's going to be, once I fill it up with dirt, yes, there's plastic bags in the bottom of it, and there's a reason for it. It doesn't keep the gophers out, but it deters them, and kind of helps keep the bugs from coming up and stuff. It's not a stop all, but it works. Radishes and weeds. Right there, that little dude right there is an edible succulent. Grows about 3 months out of the year. Grows like a weed. I mean, it kind of is a weed. If you look down there, you can actually see quite a bit on the edges. It has kind of a watery citrus flavor. It's really good for you. So I kind of let that stuff go. I snack on it while I'm out here in the garden. It's healthier than junk food. But anyways, these are my radishes. About another week they'll be ready to harvest. So I'm going to start, I'm going to weed this bed today, and then I'm going to plant some more seeds. You can, radishes and corn, and I believe green beans, you can easily plant and grow all season long, late into even the first freeze. But radishes take about 2 to 3 weeks to be fully mature, ready to harvest. So about another week these will be ready to harvest. So I'm going to be weeding this bed and planting more radishes today, so that 2 weeks after these come up, I'm going to be harvesting more. This is one of my 3 grapevines. Did not do good the first 2 years. This year it is doing amazing. Tomatoes. I have, out of the 2 6-packs, one of the 6-packs that I pre-planted, I killed it. I knocked it over and there was no saving it. So I've got 6. One of those 6-packs was Better Boys. The other 6-pack was Beefsteak. I'm not sure which one I've got. But here, and then 3 down that back row are all for my 6-packs. The rest of these are weeds, literally, because they were growing where I didn't plant them. Left over from last year. I mean, literally, if I were to just water this area and let things go, I would have wild tomatoes all over this garden. So, but anyways, I let them grow until they were about 8 to 10 inches tall. Some of them not quite that big, obviously, and transplanted them. I don't know if they're beefsteaks. I don't know if they're hothouse. I don't know if they're aromas. I don't know if they're cherries. We've planted all of those in the past, so it could be a combination of any one of those. I'm hoping it's a combination of many of them. But I'm going to get some beefsteaks and plant them here in this front row. 4 peach trees. This one, that one, and those 2 babies down there I got to stake up. But I get to run the mower down there too and kind of mow that down. And then I've got 1 blueberry bush. I planted 2, 1 survived. You can kind of see it, but as you can see, I need to mow this area down too. I'm letting the grass and weeds kind of grow. I'm going to keep them mowed down because it helps to maintain the moisture back here. The trees will grow better because there's moisture around them, and believe it or not, if there's moisture out here, it's going to bleed over there about halfway in. So, and those are prickly pears on the other side of the fence. Technically, my property goes to the other side of that flume, but that's a right-of-way easement that was granted to, well, it's now run by Edison and Cal Water. It's being reclaimed. I'm not sure how to get the rest of my property back, but anyways, I have access to those prickly pears if I ever learn how to do them. So that's how things are going out here on Loch Bunny Farm. Praise the Lord. We've had a good, so far, a good sprout. We've had a mild late spring, early summer. In fact, it's not even summer yet. Not till exactly a month from now. So, but it looks like the Lord is going to bless us with a bountiful harvest. I pray for a bountiful harvest so that we can put plenty of food in the freezer for the wintertime. Plenty of stuff in cans. I'm learning how to do canning this year. My wife used to do all the canning. I'm doing it now. And like stuff that doesn't can or freeze well, like the zucchinis and squash, would like to be able to, be able to give a lot of that away too. Have extra corn and green beans and stuff that I can, give to the church members and people around town that don't have and need and so forth. And just butchered one of our goats, male goats, Saturday. I'm still processing him, getting him in the freezer, and then this coming Saturday, that young man right there, the gentleman that's in between the 2 ladies, is going to be going into the freezer this coming Saturday as well. So things are going on. Chickens are laying. There's my other 2 grapevines. Our firewood stack, the other peach tree, really healthy. Yard is coming along. Trying to build it into a nice little oasis. Yeah, the chicken coop looks kind of tchotchked together. It kind of is, but everything, all the wood is actually repurposed wood. So there's almost no store-bought wood by me in my farm. Repurposed wood, so we're not cutting down more trees, blah, blah, blah. I do like to conserve. But anyways, well, that's how we're doing out here on the farm this spring. Looks to be a really good year, and I'm looking forward to showing you guys more. God bless.